Alright guys, let's play Axis and Allies 1941. Before we do, a couple notes. I will not be using the battle board thingy-majob or the original dice in the game. In lieu of that, I will be using different colored dice, yellow being defense rolls and the red being attack rolls, and I will do this simultaneously, and I will try not to knock stuff all over the board. Another thing is I will not be writing down the IPCs throughout the game. I will simply be using additional country tokens to show which number of IPCs they have above the NPC track here. Alright, another note is this is a lot for me to take in. I'm playing 5 different players. While the game isn't complicated, they do have some nuanced steps to it. So I am most likely going to get something wrong in this, John. Don't take my strategies as Bible. You're on your own on this one. I played it. Hopefully this video will be 4.5 times and not 5.5 times. I won't have any issues with it. So I got a feel of the game, which is what these videos are for. Not only to teach me how to play, but if any of you guys are watching, to get a feel of the game. So I'm comfortable. I could show it. Again, don't use my strategies. And if you're one of them old-time grognards who like to complain and, post about other people's playing war games, step off. I don't want to hear it. All right, but any other people want to comment or have questions, feel free to drop a line. That being said, Russia always starts the game off, and then it will go Germany, UK, Japan, and the US. The goal of the game is to capture one opposing team's capital. In this game's case, I am playing the short game. You only need to capture 1 in that case. In a normal game, you would have to capture 2 by the end of the US's turn, which is the end of the round. Alright, but I'm only doing a short game. We only need 1. Now, for the Axis, they would either have to capture the US capital here, DC, the UK's capital, London, or Moscow for Russia's capital. If we are playing as the Allies, we simply have to capture either Berlin or Japan. Like I said, Russia goes first. There is 6 phases in each player's turn that they have to do in order. First phase is called purchasing, where you can buy new troops. Second phase is called combat movement. Third phase is combat. The fourth phase is non-combat movement. The fifth phase is mobilization. And the 6th phase is income, where we can collect money to buy our troops. So, like I said, the first phase is purchasing. If we look up top, every country has a number of NPCs at the beginning of the game. We can verify that by adding up all the numbers in the regions that said country controls. If they total up to the number that is on this NPC track, it is correct. If not, you're going to have to fix it and then correct it. On the first turn, this will act as a player's IPCs, their industrial production credits. This is the cash of the game, the money. All right. So at the beginning of the game, Russia will start off with $7 basically. With the $7, Russia could buy some troops. If we look down here in the mobilization chart, we can see that we could buy land units, we could get infantry or tanks. For air units, we could get fighters or bombers. And then for sea units, we could get submarine to transport, a destroyer, an aircraft carrier, or a battleship. Next to what each unit is their cost of it. So it is 3 for infantry, 6 for tanks, and battleships cost 16. They're expensive. Russia started off with $7, so they could either buy 1 tank or 2 infantry. They will buy 2 infantry. And luckily, we figured out all the stacking chips during setup, and we have 2 infantry left over. We'll lay these guys down so you can see them. Alright, so that's the end of Russia's purchasing phase. Now we go into the combat movement phase. At this point, we're going to take any units we want to and move them into a territory that we want to do combat with. We will not move any units that aren't going to be in combat. That will take place during the non-combat phase. Alright, so let's go to Russia. Okay, now as you can see, some of these units are stacked. We can unstack them and separate them if we wanted, leaving some units behind, taking other units with us. Alright, but we can't do that interchangeably. It's a one-time deal. Alright, so we're going to attack West Russia here, and we are going to do that with Russia here. So being that we are going to produce units later, these two guys that we purchased, they will go here or here for Russia because they have two factories that they control right now. We're going to empty out Russia itself, moving all of the infantry into West Russia. And then we're going to take one tank, move it into West Russia. So that is going to join the battle. Now, tanks have this blitz thing, which means if they run through an enemy's unoccupied space, okay, meaning an enemy-controlled space that does not have any units there to defend it, land units, then a tank could do what's called a blitz. They could run through it, claim the territory that is unoccupied that they just went through, and then continue on to non-friendly territory and commence a battle. Okay, so now Russia's got units in Germany's territory here. That will be one battle, which will take care of the next phase, but we're going to continue on to other movement to see if we want to do another battle. And we're going to take a set plane here. We're going to come up 1, 2, 3 up here to Finland, Norway. Planes cannot use all of their movement. Fighters have 4 movement to use. They have to reserve at least 1 movement to get back to friendly space, whether it be on an aircraft carrier of an ally or themselves, or on land controlled by an ally or themselves. So Russia went 1, 2, 3 into Finland here. They have enough points to get back to Karela there. They cannot do a suicide mission. Okay, now joining this fighter, we're going to bring some of these guys over from Karela here. Karela. I might be mispronouncing it. I probably am. All right, they are going to join the battle here in Finland, and I could choose to fight with the guys here in Caucasus. I think I'm just going to hold off on that. I could come here, chip away at Japan. Yeah, it'll be a close battle. I think that's what I'm going to do, though. All right, we're going to go from Siberia into Manchuria here. Now we have 3 battles going on during the battle phase. I was thinking about moving the sub, but I think I'm just going to keep him in there as defense, so it's not easy for Germany to just sneak up in the back door up there. That's the end of the battle movement phase for Russia. Now we're going to get into the actual battle. All right, I lied. I am going to pull out this part of the battle board just so you can see the numbers and all. After you play a couple times, you really don't need this. But we're going to lay down here. Now we're going to take units from the territory that is affected. We're going to take all the units in the territory, and we're going to place them near a battle board. One side will be the attacking force. One side will be the defending force. So Germany is the defending force, and their infantry will go behind the number 2 slot here, which is their defense value. You can also find this on the mobilization board here. But the battle board tells you where every unit will go. Okay, Russia being the attacker will set their tanks at 3 and their infantry at 1. Now, we will take 1 die for each unit in the battle. Okay, here Russia has 6 units of infantry, so we will take 6 dice. And we will roll the 6 dice for the infantry, and the tank here has 1 unit, so we will take 1 die for that, for a total of 7 dice in the battle for Germany to roll. Now, if you're using the dice in the game, you would have to roll a number of them and then re-roll a number of them. Or you can get your own dice like I did. It's up to you. All right, so Germany would roll first. If this was a sea battle, then there's special steps for that. We will get to that on the next turn during Germany's turn for sure. So just be patient. There is no sneak attacks because this isn't a sea battle. So we are just going to roll for the attack there first, and let's see what we get. Alright, here we go. So Russia rolled these 2 6s, which are an automatic miss. 5 or 6, you automatically miss. Russia rolled a 4. Okay, that's higher than any of the units' value that is on the board, so that is a miss. Russia rolled a 3. The tank hits on a 3, so that is a hit. Now, all these other dice are higher than 1, so none of the infantry had hit. Alright, so now we know how many hits are distributed. The defender will choose which units that hit will affect. So if we come down here, there's only infantry, so they will say 1 infantry will be lost. We would move that behind, the casualty board, indicating that that is the unit that will be removed. but the unit and any remaining defending units get a chance to do a counterattack. Works the same as the attackers. You get 1 die for every unit involved in the attack, including the casualty defended there. Alright, and you give it a roll. And nothing hit because we need a 2 or lower. So this casualty is removed from the board. I forgot to adjust the credits. Alright, so Russia spent 6 credits to buy these 2 units, leaving them with 1 credit. See, it begins already. Alright, now back to the battle. Russia has a tank left and 6 infantry. Germany has 2 infantry left. Alright, so that was the first round of battle. If any surprise attacks happen in a C zone, they would happen now and only now. From then on out, the submarines would be used just like a normal unit. They would not get that surprise attack option if the surprise attack were applicable. Again, we'll get into that, I'm sure. Back to this battle. It's the end of the battle round. Germany has a couple units left, and Russia still has units left. Russia can choose to continue the battle, in which he will do so until Germany is eliminated and there is a victor, or Russia could choose to retreat now and go back to a friendly territory. They're going to choose the battle and finish this guy off. So let's roll some dice. We got 1 tank again and all 5 infantry again. So we get all 7 dice. All 6 infantry, rather. I was looking at the chip. All right. Germany lost a soul, so they only have 2 dice. Russia will roll first. And they get 2 hits. 1 for the tank, 1 for one of the infantrymen. All these other dice are not good because they are higher than the values you need. I'm going to roll for Germany while we're here. Germany got 2 hits. They did good. Alright, so Germany lost both of their units. They are both casualties, but they get to roll that counterattack, which I did. And now Russia will have to choose their units that they wish to become casualties. Germany's units will now get removed from the board because they are dead. They did their counterattack. Russia is going to choose 2 infantry to become casualties in this. Okay, which will bring them down to 4 units. Okay, Germany does not get a chance to counterattack if they were removing units from a defender attacking them. Okay, I almost said counterattack. That would have got real confused. All right, now that is the end of the battle. Germany has won the battle. Russia has won the battle. We will return all of the units to the zone that was affected. In this case, it is West Russia. Russia has now captured that territory. We will cover the German flag with Russia's flag. And it has a number here which represents NPCs and IPCs. So Germany will lose 1 NPC because it is worth 1, and Russia will gain 1 NPC, which will later be converted into IPCs, cash. Alright, so that's the end of the combat phase for that zone. We are going to move up to Finland here. Alright, here we go. We're set up on the board. Germany gets 2 dice for their infantry, and then Russia gets 4 dice, 3 for infantry, 1 for the plane. Let's roll off. Alright, so Germany gets 2 hits defending, and we get 1 hit for the plane, and then 1 hit for one of our infantry. The other 2 aren't used because they're too high for the values. They're misses. So we're just going to do it 1-on-1. They are both going to choose infantry. Okay, that was a quick one. We're going to return these to the affected area. Again, Norway. Germany loses 1 more NPC, and the USSR gains said NPC. Alright, last battle for Russia up here in Manchuria. Alright, so Russia gets 3 dice. Japan gets 2 dice. Let's give it a roll. Alright, Japan gets 1 hit. Russia gets no hits. So Russia will lose 1 infantry. We'll remove a die, and we'll do it again. Okay, so Russia did get a hit. Japan will choose that. Now, Russia could choose to withdraw, but we're not. We're going to go through. All right, and no hits on either side. We go again. Japan got a hit. They're going to go for it. All right, nada. Go again. Nothing. Japan won. Japan won. All right, so Russia doesn't get the counterattack, even though it is a casualty. It's just removed from the board. Japan saves their ass in Manchuria. And that is the end of the battle phase for Russia. All right, now we go into the non-combat movement phase, because all of Russia's combat is done. Any units that were not involved in battle can now move freely in any friendly zone they wish to, abiding by movement rules. All right, so Russia is going to split Archangel up here and do a couple different units, and we're going to place one in Karelia here, or two in Karelia here, and one back there in Archangel. We're going to get 2 units there. I'm not worried about that. All right, so that's all the reinforcement they're going to do. Now we have the planes to worry about. Like I said, the plane has to get back to a territory that is friendly of theirs. They cannot land in a territory that a player just gained control of. So they're going to go 1 space over here to Karelia. And I forgot to put the thing on there. So now we go into the mobilization phase, which is we just take all of the units that we bought earlier and we place them in a factory if they're land units that we control. And that must be us. It cannot be an ally's factory. Or if it is a ship or something like that in a sea zone adjacent to a factory that we control. All right, so we have 2 units that we purchased. We could place 1 in Russia and 1 down here in the Caucasus if we wanted to, because we have 2 territories with a factory. We must abide by this number, which is the limit of units that can be produced by that factory. So if I had bought 3 units earlier, I could not place all 3 of them here in the Caucasus. I could only place 2. Any other ones that remain, I would have to place in another territory that I owned a factory in. If I could not do that, they were lost. So we're just going to put both of them in the factory in Russia. All right, that's the end of the mobilization phase. Now we go into the income phase, and we simply look at the board. We add up all of the numbers in territories that we control. We confirm that it is the same as it is on the national production chart here. Okay, so the Russia has 9 points in the NPC chart. They gained 2. Germany here lost 2. The sliding rule. So we're going to do that. You gain 1, the enemy loses 1. Now we will add any credits we had left over from the purchasing phase, which was 1, and we will add that to the NPCs, which is 9. So Russia now has $10 to spend during their next turn. All right. And that is a player's turn. That is all 6 phases. It goes over to Germany. Now, as we can see, Russia took a couple territories from Germany, and they lost some NPCs. They will not start off the round with that many credits. Okay, it doesn't matter where the NPCs are for the Germans' turn if they lose them during the first round. Whereas Russia, that is the money they started with. Now, Germany will use what are the credits. All right, it is what Germany started off with on the first turn of the first round. Now that they lost it wouldn't, they lose a couple credits if they went by that. They don't. They go by what they wrote down. So they have 12 credits. What are they going to buy? They're going to buy a tank, and they're going to buy 2 infantries. All right, so they're going to buy 2 infantry and a tank, spending all 12 of their credits, so they get no credits. That's the end of our purchasing fees. Now we're going to go into the combat movement. All right, first, Germany's going to move this sub down here. Now, submarines work a little differently. Normally, when your unit moves into a territory with a enemy unit in it, that territory is considered hostile. With sea zones, it's a little different. Submarines do not abide by the hostile, non-hostile move when they are going through or stopping on a territory with with an enemy unit on it, unless they choose to be in an attack, in which case it's now considered hostile. They're going to come here, try and attack this guy here for one. We're going to bring the battleship and the sub out here. Okay, so we're going to move one space here, and then we're going to come down here through the Irish Sea, and we're going to come here. You know what? I changed my mind. We're going to move this sub from C-Zone 9 into this C-Zone here to join this attack. C-Zone 8, I think it is. Alright. We're going to move the sub and the destroyer over from 16 to 14. Go after this aircraft carrier. Then Germany, we're going to go over here, I think. So we're going to set this guy out here. We're going to attack the battleship with him. This guy here, we're going to come down here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to attack Egypt here. We're going to use the ferry as a bridge, but I want to decide what I'm going to use here. Do I want to do 2 infantry? Yeah, I do. I'll move this tank over. I can only do, on a ferry, you can only have 1 tank, or you could have 2 infantry, or you could have 1 tank and 1 infantry. You can never have 2 tanks, and you can only use the ferry like normal. You can only put 2 units going through it, in this case, as a bridge. You cannot continuously run units through it. Alright, so in that case, we're going to take both of these units from South Europe, and we are going to load them on the ferry or transport, move them 1 space, and then dump them off into Egypt to join the battle. This tank here is going to come in and join the battle. Alright, I changed my mind. I'm going to split this unit up before they left. They're going to use the boat to go through. Alright, one's going to come here and one's going to come here. Now, being that Germany came here and it was undefended, the UK loses it, Germany gains an IPC, UK loses the IPC. I'm going to put him underneath because I'm going to be moving him again, I'm sure. Alright, we're going to send a bomber. I don't know if I want to go to London or he's going to come this way. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to bomb India. Alright, let's see. I think we're going to leave the fighter there because 1, 2, 3. I would leave Russia undefended in the air. I'm getting tanks now. Yeah, alright. Alright, yeah, he'll join in the battle down here. Alright, let me see the Ukraine. Do I want to try and go back with West Russia? I'd like to get Caucasus though. Can I do that? 1 tank, 3. I'm going to try. So we'll put all these guys here from the Ukraine into the Caucasus. Alright, that's all the combat movement. So what we got here is we had people coming from Germany and they went somewhere, I forget where. The planes, that's what it was. Alright, so we had a plane, the bomber came down here, one of the other ones came down here, one of the fighters. Then we had all the armies in Southern Europe use this as a bridge, and then we split them up into 2 units, one going to Egypt, one taking control of the Middle East here. Alright, we got a bunch of sea battles going on, and then we have over here in the Caucasus, we're going to try and chip away at Russia a bit. Alright, so let's do the sea battle first. We're going to go here to Sea Zone 14. I'm not going to... Yeah, I am. Alright, so the defenders is the UK. We put the aircraft carrier there. And the fighter comes off at a value of 4. Okay, and Germany has a sub and a destroyer, which both have an attack value of 2. Alright, so now Germany has a sub. The other side does not have a destroyer to counter the effects of a sub. So the sub will roll first as a surprise attack. Gets a 3. It does not happen. Alright. Now, the sub is out of this round of combat. Germany will roll the other die for the destroyer. A 6. 'Tis a miss. Germany is out of the round for rolling. The UK will now counterattack. And there is a hit and a miss. The plane cannot hit the submarine, so Germany must choose to lose the destroyer. Alright, now Germany has a choice. Does it want to attack again or retreat? Being that the plane cannot attack the submarine, he's going to stay in there, and we're going to lose a die for him. Alright, Germany misses. Oh, but the aircraft carrier hits. Germany loses the sub, and that's the end of that. These guys go back to the zone they started from. Alright, we're going to go over to this next battle here. Alright, here we go. We have 3 subs in this battle. Germany has 2, and England has 1. Now, Germany could choose to submerge and save his subs for another day. The other sub could also do this because there are no destroyers involved. They're both going to stay in there. Alright, so I get 3 dice. 2 attack, 1 defend. Let's roll them, see what happens. Okay, so I get a hit and a miss. England misses, so my subs are safe, but they are out of the round of combat. This sub here is destroyed. It does not get the counterattack because it was a surprise attack. Alright, if I had a second hit with Germany, I could choose to hit the battleship, but I don't. Alright, now, there was no counterattack with that because they were surprise attacks. Now we go into the actual battle. We have 2 dice for Germany here, 1 for the plane, 1 for the battleship, and 1 die here for the English battleship. Let's give it a roll, see what happens. Alright, so Germany hit twice. England did not, so the battleship would take 1 point of damage. They have 2 points of damage, so they are not automatically a casualty. And then it would take the second one and eliminate it from the board. This was the counterattack for the casualty, but it missed. Alright, Germany goes into Sea Zone 8 where the battle commenced. Let's go up to the Caucasus here. Alright, so Germany has 3 infantry, 2 tanks. Russia has 1 tank and 3 infantry. I got a little greedy with this one being Germany. Let's see. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4 defending dice, and then 5 attacking dice. Let's see what happens. Alright, so these are misses. Automatically. The tank missed. The tank hit, so that's 1 hit for the defender. With Germany, we have 1 hit for the infantry and 1 hit for the tank. Doesn't matter what. So it's 2 for Germany, 1 for Russia. Russia will lose 1 infantry. Germany will lose 1 infantry, and then Russia will lose the 2nd infantry. Alright, Germany's going to attack again. So we have 2 defense dice and 4 attack dice. Go. Alright, so swing and a miss for Britain, but Germany got 2, which will destroy these guys, giving Germany control of the Caucasus. Alright, there we go. Germany got that. Gives them 2 points on the NPC chart. And Russia loses 2. 1, 2. And Russia also loses this factory. Now Germany cannot produce at this factory during their, their mobilization phase, because they just took control of it. The next turn, if they still have it, they can use it though. Let's go on. Let's do India, because that'll be quick, I think. I don't see this bomber lasting too long. So the bomber has an attack of 4. The fighter has an attack or defense of 4, and then we have these 2 infantry. So 1 attack die, 4 defense dice, or 3 defense dice rather. All right, they're a miss. Germany got 1. England got 1. So England will choose an infantry, and Germany lost its bomber. They go back. All right, Germany's final battle down here in Egypt. Let's see what happens. You get the infantry, the tank, and then the 2 fighters, 2 infantry, and a tank. All right, so England has 3 defense dice. Germany has 4 attack dice. All right, England has 1 hit. Germany has 3 hits. Germany will wipe out England, but England will take 1 of Germany's units. Okay, now that I am conquering a territory, I have to have at least 1 land unit go into that territory. Being that I have a tank, I'm going to get rid of the infantry because it's cheaper. We're going to place these guys in Egypt. And then we gain an NPC, and Britain loses 1. Now we go into non-combat. So Germany is going to shore up South Europe for sure. Move them guys there. We're going to move 1 into Eastern Europe there. All right. Then we're going to split these guys up. All right. So we're going to split these guys up. We're going to send 3 of them to the Ukraine. We're going to split these tanks up. Do I have enough units? No, I don't. Alright, so that's all the troops I'm going to move. Now, I got to get these planes back to safety. So, these 2 are just going to come over here, landing in North Africa. My bomber was destroyed, unfortunately. Now we go into mobilization. Everything's going to have to get dumped in Germany, because even though we took control of this, we do not use it quite yet. Alright, now we go into the income phase. Now, if we look up here, Germany has 14, being that they spent all of their credits during the purchasing phase. They can't add it to anything but 0, so they get 14 credits for the next turn to buy the IPC credits. Almost forgot a plane. We gotta get him back to safety. There we go. Now it's England's turn. They had 12 IPCs to start with. They're going to need infantry. They're going to need planes. They need everything. Poor England. Poor England. So fighters are 10 credits. That will leave them with 2. They have to have at least 1 land unit on there. You know what? They might as well start trying to build up and hold off. So they will spend 3 for an infantry. All right. So they're going to buy a tank. 2 infantry. Okay. So that is 12 credits. They go down to 0. Now to do the combat. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bomb somebody. All right, the plane here is going to go 1, 2, 3. This plane here is going to come 1, 2. This aircraft carrier is going to join the battle. This destroyer is going to come out and join the battle. So 1, 2, 1, 2 up in here. Oh, make me lose my mind. Over here, over here. Now the bomber is going to come 1, 1, 2. It's going to attack here. This plane here, we're going to come over here and attack the Middle East here. We want to gain control of the Suez Canal again. We want to stop Germany from getting through it. All right, and then they're going to move 1 infantry unit in there. Right now, they cannot move their destroyer. It could go 1 space, but it can't go through the canal. All right, let's start in the sea soon. We got 2 submarines, which effects are canceled out by the destroyer, the carrier, and the fighter. So that is 3 dice. Germany has 3 dice. Now there's a destroyer in play. It cancels out the effects of the submarines, so the submarines do not do their surprise attack. Let's roll and see what happens here. So I got 1 hit they got 3 hit on the counterattack. So we'll start off with the Germans. The Germans will choose to 1 hit on each submarine. Okay, remember that the destroyer here cancels out the effects of the submarines, so they can be attacked by airplanes now. They, however, cannot attack airplanes. So Germany lost their subs, or 1 sub rather. Okay, the U.S. took 3 hits, so they will lose 2 C units. Okay, and the 3rd hit cannot hit the airplane because it's coming from a sub. So that is the end of that. That did not go well for England either. We'll go here. Alright, so Germany has 2, 4 attack dice, or defense dice. England has 2. Let's see what we're doing here. Oh, that's a lot of hits. Alright, so England hit twice. Germany hit once for the tank, once for the fighter, right? And once for the infantry. These were misses, so Germany will take 2 hits. They will choose the infantry. England will now lose both of their planes, unfortunately. But it did the job. It chipped that way. Down here at the Middle East, let's see, we got 1 infantry against the 2 English fighters there, or, units. And 1 hit. No hit on them. Germany lost this. England gained control of the Middle East, which means they can now block Germany from moving across the canal with either ships or land unit. Okay, so that's all the battle phase. Now we go into the non-battle phase. This plane has to go back to a safe landing zone. So does this one, which it will right here back in the UK. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pick this tank up from the Eastern Canada there. I'm going to move 1 space. I'm going to pick up an infantry guy for the US, and then I'm going to move back to where I was, basically. There's all the non-combat movement. Now we mobilize. So I am going to throw 1 tank down here in Australia. I'm going to throw 1 guy. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to throw the tank up here in India. I got to protect the homeland. All right. You know what? He's going to move this sub to 1, 2, meet up here. All right, that is the end of mobilization. Now we get our income here, and it is 11. It goes over to Japan. Let's see what Japan's going to do. Japan is going to load up some troops here. We're going to leave 2 in Japan. All right, now we're going to load this transport up here with a tank and 1 of these infantry. We're going to move the transport 1 to this sea zone here, and then we are going to dump these guys out here. Alright, we're going to use this plane here, and we're going to take off from this aircraft carrier going 1, 2, 3. I'm going to mess with this battleship here. This one will go 1, 2, 3, along with this one here. Our battleship will come 1, 2. This plane here will fly down here. 1, 2, 3. You know what? He will join these guys over here. All right, the bomber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's see if he makes it back. These guys here. We'll leave 1 to defend. We'll send 1 to attack. We'll send 1 of these guys in here to attack. Alright, so that's it. Now the intent is for these aircraft carriers to come out here and link up with these fighters. This one will probably go here, and then this one will go down here. 1, 2. It'll go here, and the fighters could go 1 space back to them. 1, 2. Alright. You know what? Hold on. Alright, you know what? Our sub's going to come down here. 1, 2. I'm going to try and go off after Australia there. That wasn't too bright of Australia. I wasn't thinking. Or, the U.S. All right, so UK. Let's start with here. Let's start at Hawaii. So Japan's attacking. They get 3 dice. U.S. is defending with 1 die. Okay. Japan gets 1 hit. U.S. Gets 1 hit. So U.S. will take his hit. And Japan will take his hit. Alright, continue, same amount of dice. And they both get 1 hit. But it is enough to destroy the U.S.'s fleet there. So Japan will lose 1 battleship. The U.S. just lost a battle. The battleship that Japan had damaged will flip back up, and it is now good as new. That's the end of that battle. Let's go up here to off the coast of the U.S. So the U.S. has 1, 2, 3, 4 dice. Japan has 2 dice. Okay, so Japan did hit twice, or once rather. The U.S., there's 1 hit, 2 hit. The U.S. will choose to lose a vehicle, a plane, or I think a plane. All right, it will lose a plane. Unfortunately, Japan did not do as well as they had thought. All right, let's go to India. So they have 1 for the bomber, 1 for the infantry, and then they have 3 defense dice for India. Let's give it a roll. Ooh. All right, so that's a miss. That's a miss, but there's 2 hits. So it'll be 1 infantry for India, and then these 2 for Japan. 2 U.S. troops, and we got 2 Japanese infantry. Let's give it a roll, see what happens. Alright, so the U.S. does not defend. The Japanese does 1 damage though. So there we go, they lose a point. An infantry and a die. Let's do that again. Okay, so Japan hit, U.S. missed. Japan won that battle. The U.S. now loses the said territory along with the IPCs. Japan gets 1, U.S. loses 1. And that is the end of Japan's combat. Let's do their mobilization. 2 infantry and a tank. See, I told you I was going to be making mistakes. 2 infantry and a tank. And Japan will have to put them here. I skipped their income phase, okay? They would have bought 1 infantry and a tank, which I just placed in there. That would have been all of their money. Now they will gain 10 points in IPCs. We got to get the planes back to safety if we can. Like I said, this guy here was going to go 1, 2, and the plane shall land. Okay, now being that all the planes were destroyed, there's no sense for him to go over there. He's going to stay there. Okay, I forgot about the sub down here. The sub would attack. It will destroy this transport because they cannot defend themselves. That is the end of Japan's turn. All right. Sorry, I screwed that one up a little bit for forgetting about the purchasing phase. I jumped the gun. All right. Now it goes to the U.S. player, the final player of the turn. Let's see what they're going to do. They had 17 credits to start with. I want to buy a plane. Right. 1 or 2, though. What kind of bomber or fighter and a tank? That's what they're going to do. Fighter and a tank, which is a total of 16. So that leaves them with 1 credit. All right, let's get into combat. This bomber here is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to attack this ship here. We are going to move this airplane here. So 1, 2. I'm going to go there. Then we are going to move the aircraft carrier into the battle there. We're going to send the sub out there too. 1, 2. That's basically all the battles that they can do. So we will start. And that makes sense. Why would I do that? Yeah. He's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4. And attack. I'll attack the tank here. Alright, so let's roll it off 1-on-1. And they both hit. Alright, so they destroy each other. Like I said, I want to try and gain control of the Suez Canal so the Allies could go through. So that didn't work out as well as I hoped. We come over here, we have a submarine which will attack first. And let's roll for that. And he gets a hit. So the aircraft carrier is hit right away. They do not get to do a counterattack. And the sub is out of the battle. But we have these two here. So let's roll for them. We have 2 for the U.S., 1 for Japan. The U.S. does hit once. Japan misses. Japan is destroyed. And that is the end of the combat phase. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Alright, now we go into non-combat phase. What we're going to do is load up this transport here. And then we are going to move it up here with our destroyer here. We're going to make a convoy up there in space 11, 10, whatever that is. This plane here is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, land in Gibraltar. Alright. This plane was involved in combat. It cannot do nothing. We are going to load 1 tank and 1 infantry unit into this transport here. 1, 2. And then we're going to unload them. 1 unit there. We're going to leave 1 in. We're going to unload both of them here just in case. Shore up our backside there. All right, so that is the end of the non-combat. Now we do the mobilization. We are going to put 1 tank here, and we are going to put 1 airplane here in the eastern U.S. And that is the end of the mobilization for the U.S. We go into the income phase. We have 16 IPC plus 1 equals 17 IPCs. Now, down here, wow, there is no land units on it. It is still occupied by Germany, technically, even though the U.S. defeated Germany. It will not be conquered until a land unit goes in there, and then it will either be liberated or conquered. Okay, so that was the end of round 1. We will now check for winning conditions. Nobody gained the capital, so the game is not over. Again, this is a short game. You only need to capture 1 enemy capital. For a longer, the original game, the normal game, you need 2. We go back to Russia. Russia will see what their income is. It is 10 rubles. So, let's see. Russia will get a tank. Definitely get a tank, which will leave them with 4. So, they could get infantry and a tank, or they could get 1 plane, 1 fighter. It doesn't make sense for Russia to build ships because they can't deploy them. So I think I'm better off with the land units. So they spend 9 of their 10 ruble. They get $1 left. Now they go into combat movement. And we are going to move everybody out of Western Russia into Eastern Europe. And we're going to take these guys from Karela there. And I want to go at their Caucasus again. See, 2 infantry. And then I got to decide what to do with this plane here. I could come down here, fight, trying to get the Caucasus back. Or I could add them to this fight down here. So let me see. There are 3, 4, 6 infantry and 1 tank against 2 infantry and 2 tanks. This is a no-go if I leave the plane out of it. So what I think I will do is I will hold off on them. I will let the Caucasus go for now. This plane will join in Eastern Europe fight there. These guys will stay in Russia. Might move them in the non-combat phase. Yeah, that's about it. That's all they can really do. Let's go to the battle. All right, so like I said, Russia has 4, 6 infantry, a tank and a plane, but I only got one more die. I don't want to grab the other one out. I gotta get the out of the packages, so I'm just gonna roll for the infantry first. Germany has 2 infantry, so we have these 2 dice here. You know what? I'm gonna roll all of Germany's defense. All right. So 4 dice for Germany, 2 for the infantry, 2 for the tanks. Now I am gonna roll for the tank and the plane for Russia, and both are a wash. So Germany will choose to lose these 2 infantry. Russia will lose these 2 infantry. Alright, leaves Germany with 2 tanks to defend against 3 infantry, a tank, and an aeroplane. Aeroplane, my aeroplane. I like pleasure mixed with pain. Alright, so Germany hit twice. Russia hit once with the tank, once with the plane, missed with all of the infantry, but it is enough to destroy the German forces in Western Europe. Being that they are land units in there, they will now take over said territory. Germany shall lose 1 NCP and Russia will gain 1. Alright, so that's the end of the combat. We're going to go into the non-combat. So with the non-combat, we are going to bring 1 from Archangel into Western Russia there. Or now, you know what? We're going to bring him over here to Karela. We're going to bring 1 from Russia into there. And that's all we're going to do for that. We're going to move this sub out of here. We're going to go 1, 2 spaces down here. Now we're going to drop these guys here because that's the only place Russia can produce. We are going to check for our income, and we will add 1 plus 8 to give us 9. And that's all Russia has to say about that. It goes over to Germany. Alright, so Germany will start with 14 IPCs. Alright, with 6 to 14, they're going to buy a sub. Then they are going to buy 1 of these guys, which will bring them up to 9. Tank would be 15. Another one would be 6, 12. So they could either buy a tank and the sub, or 2 land units and the sub. I think they will go with 2 infantry units, rather, not land units. I think they'll go with the 2 infantry. Okay, so that will leave them with 2 points. 2 points. Now their combat move. Let's see what Germany's going to do. First, we're going to move these 2 guys over here. That's 1. Alright, Germany's going to come out of Germany, out of Berlin there. They're going to go into East Europe. This guy here, he's going to do an amphibious assault. One of them is going to stay back. Alright, so 1 amphibious assault coming off here. I'll take 1 guy from here. He'll do the same thing. Alright, so that'd be 2 coming in here, 1 amphibious. This plane, this fighter here will go 1, 2, 3 to join this attack. This fighter here is going to come out, go 1, 2 into this little zone here at Gibraltar, attack that guy there. Alright, and the Caucasus. Let's send 1 guy from the Caucasus, debating on whether to do it with a tank or not. Or now, you know what? I can reinforce it with this. I'm going to send the tank in. Do the sea battle first over here. What do we got here? We got a destroyer, or a sub and a battleship. No other subs on their side. They do have a destroyer, so the subs' effects are null and void until that destroyer is out. So they can't do the sneak attack, and they can't run away. They're stuck in the battle. Alright, so Germany has 2 dice, and the US has 1 die. Let's see what they do. Alright, so the US did hit. So did Germany, but the submarine did not. The US will have to lose their destroyer here. Okay, meaning all this is sunk and lost. Alright, Germany has to take a hit. They will take it on their battleship, which would give it 1 hit. You'd flip it on the side, but it won the battle. So they go there. Alright, we're going to come down here to Gibraltar here, 1 and 1. See what happens. We need 3. There we go, 3 and 2. So they both hit. They destroy each other. There we go, up in Eastern Europe. So, Germany has 2 infantry, a tank, and a plane. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant to move one of the guys from the Ukraine in there. So I'll do that now. Alright, so it's 4. One more die. Russia will defend with 4 dice for the infantry, 1 for the tank, 1 for the plane. 7 dice. This may not have been a good idea. Alright, let's see what happens. So, it's 2 for each of them. They will naturally lose infantry first. So, Russia loses 2, bringing them down to 1 infantry. Germany loses 2, bringing them down to 2 infantry. Germany is going to stay in the fight. So, we have 2 for Germany, 2, 3 for Russia. Russia will lose 1 infantry. Germany will lose 1 infantry, and then for the second hit, they're going to choose to keep the tank in the battle. They got to try and have a land unit in there to take it over. All right, so Germany's not looking good. All right, it's 1 against 3. All right, Germany's going to retreat. I'll go back to Berlin. All right, let's go down to the Middle East. All right, so Germany has 2, 3 dice. The Brits have 1, and the Brits missed. Germany did hit. So the Brits lose this territory here. Germany gained 1 NPC. The Brits lose 1 NPC. I'm going to flip that because Japan is going to get messed with next, probably. And that is the end of the combat phase. Now we go on the non-combat phase. Germany is low on troops. Are they worried about losing the Ukraine? Nah. All right. Germany is going to move 1 unit over here. Oh, these chips. All right. All these are over there, leaving 1 in the Ukraine there. Yeah, that's it. That's all they're going to do. Now we're going to mobilize. So the sub will be dropped down here in C Zone 5 because that's the only thing adjacent to the Germany. And we are going to drop 1 infantry here and the other one we're going to drop in the Caucasus. All right, being that they controlled it at the start of their turn, they can now use it to produce units. Now we go over to England. See what England is going to do. Oh, wait, we got to do their income. 13 plus 2 is 15. Now we go over to England. We check their income. They have 11 credits here, so they need a transport, definitely. That's 7. And they need something to watch this transport, so the next cheapest thing they can buy in ships is a sub. And I don't know what that is. Alright. I'm going to buy a sub because Germany kicked their ass. That last round destroyed a lot of their units. Alright, now we go into combat. England's not going to do anything. Alright. Go into the non-combat. They are going to take this transport with this destroyer here, and they're going to move down 1, 2. Technically, I guess this would be combat. I was thinking because the transport was empty, wasn't thinking straight. So they're going to go into combat. Being that the destroyer is there, the sub doesn't get their surprise attack. Let's roll. The sub missed, and so did the destroyer. All right, we're going to go again. Alright, the destroyer missed and the sub missed. Let's do it again. Ooh, the sub missed. And so did the destroyer. Alright, let's try over here. 2 misses. Alright, the sub finally hit. So I have to destroy the destroyer because the sub cannot, transport cannot be used in replacement of any casualties if there are any left for siege purposes. And being that the sub is in the same spot, nothing will happen because the sub was defending. So we get rid of the destroyer here. This ain't working out for England there. All right, so that's the end of England's turn. They're going to mobilize. They are going to drop. Now, I was looking at the wrong marker when I did the purchasing fees. England's got 11, so they need a transport, which will bring them down to 4, and they're going to throw an infantry in there. 4 and 4 is 11. All right, so they would spend that on this. I will now deploy mobilize these. We'll throw one down here in China, and the transport will go into the 7C zone there. All right, so that would have spent all of their stuff there. They still did not gain or lose anything, so they have 10 credits to spend the next round. All right, now it goes over to Japan. Japan will purchase. They have 10 credits. It could just get one fighter. Let's see what they want to do. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to get a fighter. They're going to start a land assault now, I think. Yeah. All right, so they spent all 10 of their credits. Leaves them with no monies. Now they go into combat movement, and they will do so now. Let's see. First thing they're going to do is do a transport with the sub. The sub's going to, or the transport rather, he's going to come up here. He's going to collect one tank and one infantry. The infantry is going to use it as a bridge and go here, taking this over from Russia. Now, being it doesn't have a number on it, we don't have to worry about adjusting the NPC track. They just lose that territory, and now Japan can run through it as though it was their own territory. So good job. For the rest of it, they're going to move the tank down here and offload it. This may be wrong. I'm a little confused with the timing on this because technically this was an attack. This one is not. It's just a drop off. So they both kind of should have been made at different points in the movement. One during the military, one during the combat movement rather, one during the non-combat. This is how I'm going to play it. We are going to send these two guys on this transport here. We're going to do an amphibious assault here. We're going to send the destroyer out there with it. Okay, down here, Japan is going to attack this sub. You know, whether I did that right or not, it's getting destroyed. We're going to send this destroyer up here. 1, 2, guard the coast. He's going to come in. You know what? No, I'm going to send the destroyer over here. Where is he here? 1, 2. He's going to come over here with the battleship. We're going to go after Wake Island here. We're going to send the tank up here in the northern China from Szechuan. Well, they say Saskatchewan. All right, that is it. We're going to go into battle now. Let's start with northern China. So it is 1-on-1. Let's roll. The tank hit. The U.S. did not defend themselves. They get pummeled. And Japan wins that. All right, let's take care of the sea battle. All right, we'll do this one here at the sea zone around Wake Island. The destroyer's in play, so the U.S. does not get a sneak attack. Let's see what goes down. Oops. I do have a hit and then another miss. And the battleship hits on a 4, so that's 2 hits. All right, now the U.S. will choose the sub as 1 hit. The battleship, they'll keep the fighter. The battleship's lost, or the aircraft carrier's lost. Yeah, they only have. Now you know what? They're gonna lose the plane. They're gonna lose the plane. The plane. Of course, Japan's gonna take the battleship damage. All right. And if I could ever get them to stay on the side, we'd be okay. All right, now we got the same dice here. We got 1 and 2. The same as the results, I should say. We're going to give these a roll. And 2 hits for Japan gives. The U.S. does not. They lose Sea Zone 39. Sea Zone, not Cezanne. Sea Zone. Sea Zone. I've been calling it all sorts of stuff. All right, let's go to Wake Island, or the Philippines, rather. All right, Japan has 2 dice. And the U.S. has 1. The U.S. and Japan both miss. All right, let's do it again. Another miss. U.S. Got one hit. Oh, and they got another hit. The U.S. defended their land there. All right. Final battle for Japan is down here. They come up. This is automatically destroyed. And that is the end of their combat phase. Now we will go into their mobilization phase. We're going to drop that right there on the mainland of Japan. I should have done their non-mobilization or non-combat phase. Everything but the aircraft carrier was in combat, so that ain't going to help. I was going to drop this guy right on the aircraft carrier when he got produced. That's why I left the aircraft carrier there. Again, this is a lot for me to keep track of. Mistakes will be made and men will be lost. All right, so that's the end of that. We did the mobilization. Japan didn't win anything, unfortunately. They took some stuff over, but they didn't win anything. So they will get 10 credits. Goes over to the U.S. Now the U.S. has 16 credits. All right, we'll do 2 transports, which will leave us at 14. We do have 3. We might as well do an infantry. They used all their cash. All right, so we're going to the combat movement phase. All right, we're going to do an amphibious assault here. We're going to load these guys up on this transport. They're going to move 1. And then offload here. All right, it's 1 against 2 dice. And the U.S. missed with 1. They hit with the tank. Japan defended 1. They're both going to lose. The infantry in this case. Japan lost control of Siberia here. It gets reverted back to Russia. The United States does not, put their control marker on it. It didn't affect anything there. It's just giving us an opportunity not to get Russia, closed in on there. Pretty much all they can do. We go into the non-combat movement. We will take this fighter here. We're going to come over here to the western United States. It is adjacent. Remember, it wraps left to right, but not up and down. So that's 1 point of movement. That's all he's going to do. Now we're going to do the whatchamacallit phase. You know what it's called. We're going to drop these guys here in the eastern United States, and this guy here in the western United States. All right, the mobilization phase. I couldn't remember it. All right, that's the end of that. We get our income. Nothing changed, so we get $16. I think I screwed it up. I should have put a whatchamacallit. I should have put something with it to help it. So I'm going to put a submarine there to try and defend it. I'm going to take this transport back from the U.S. All right, which will give them 1 additional credit because they wouldn't have spent all 17 last time. They would have only spent 16. I just wasn't paying attention. I should have dropped a destroyer or something down there with them. All right, but moving on. So it is Russia's turn at the start of the 3rd round. Russia has 9 credits. 9. Let's see if this will work. All right, Russia will do a tank and an infantry for all 9 of their credits. Now we go to the movement for the combat. So Russia is going to go after the fatherland here with the plane and these guys. I think perhaps I should have moved the plane back at non-combat at one point. I don't remember if I screwed that up. All right, it doesn't matter. So there's 3. This guy here is going to go 1 in the West Russia. 2. Oh no, you won't make it. Oh, that sucks. You won't make it. Do I want to go into the Caucasus again? No. You know what? Maybe I'll try this. 1, 2. We're going to go in the Ukraine here and attack the Ukraine. Yeah. We're going to go here. Get the Ukraine there. All right, so that's what Russia is doing. Let's do the battles. So we'll do the Ukraine first. Russia gets 2 dice. Germany gets 1. And Germany misses once. Russia misses once. And Germany is no longer in control of the Ukraine. So Russia gets the Ukraine. Germany loses 1, Russia gains 1. Now, we're going to go over to Germany itself. Germany has 1 attack, 1 defense attack. Russia hits twice. Okay, so Germany will choose to lose their infantry and their tank. Russia will choose to lose an infantry. Now, Russia has conquered Germany. For now, Germany will lose all of their NPCs and Russia will gain it. So Russia will gain 12 NPCs. Germany will lose 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that is the number of NPCs that Germany does produce in Germany. They lose the rest of Germany's credits because they took over the capital. It was like what was in the capital's bank, and they raided it. Okay, now Russia took this over, so they gained 4 more NPCs. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we will go into the the non-combat movement for Russia, and we're going to move 1 here in the West Russia, Ukraine. I can't do anything with these guys. Yeah. I'm going to move this guy over here into West Russia. We'll leave him go. Now, Russia will be able to produce units, which they will do there. We go into the income phase, and Russia gains 13. So 12 plus 13 is 25. Okay, now that is the end of Russia's turn. As you can see, Germany lost their capital. If the capital is still lost by the end of the United States' turn, the Allies have won. We're going to go into Germany's turn now. What this means for Germany is it cannot collect income, it cannot purchase any units, and it cannot mobilize any units. The only thing it could do is combat movement, combat itself, and then non-combat movement until it gains control of its capital again. Germany is going to go into the capital with everything around it there. On 2, we'll use this guy too. We're going to move this boat. 1, 2. We're going to move this boat in here. They're going to fight. And that's all I think Germany's going to do. All right, let's conduct combat. 3 to 2 dice. Russia defends. Hits 1 with the defense. We're going to lose the plane and hope we can ride it out. Let's see. Germany will lose the infantrymen. 2 against 1. Ooh, Germany hits once. The tank does not. Germany actually hits twice. So there we go. All right, now, being that Germany just liberated Berlin from the USSR, they do not get the USSR credits. Okay, instead, they just get control of their country back, and the next round they could do their income and all that. So let's go over here and do this one. So we have a sub and a sub fighting, so they would do the surprise attack, and neither one of them hit. They are out of the first round of combat. The battleship will roll. He misses. Okay, now we just go into normal combat. And U.S. misses. They miss. Let's do it again. Alright. The U.S. hits. The sub misses. Doesn't matter. These are both destroyed. The sub's going to pop up and say bye-bye to this transport. And that is the end of Germany's turn. Alright, now let's collect their income because they have control of their capital back. We move the NPC up to 12. They gain that many credits, and they live on to fight another day. Alright, so it goes over to the UK. They are going to spend 7 on a transport. Then they're going to spend 3 on infantry, I guess. Yeah. So that's 10. All right, let's go into combat movement. All right, so England's going to come in here. Oh, can they do that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can come here 4. All right, 2 and attack here. That's what they'll do. 1, 2. They'll go 1. 2 up here to Japan, off the coast of China there. Alright, that's the end of their combat movement. Let's get into the combat. We'll start up here in Germany. Alright, there we go. 2 dice to 1. Alright, so Germany defends 1. Doesn't matter, because the plane's gone. Alright, we're going to go down here. This is automatically destroyed. We're going to come over here. This guy's automatically destroyed. Non-combat, we got to get the plane back to safety. He's going to land. He's going to land there. You can't move these guys. They're trapped on an island. Okay, we're going to move this guy up 1 space from South America, or South Africa rather. And then we're going to drop this ship here in this sea zone. We're going to drop him off in London. And now we collect our income. So we didn't gain anything, right? Nah. We go back to 10. Over to Japan. Japan has 10 bucks. Yen? I think it's yen. 10 yen. What are they going to do? Oh, what are they going to do? I think they're going to get a plane for sure. They're going to get a plane. Alright, so that's 10 bucks. Alright, now Japan will move this transport to the motherland. Or not. Yeah, she'll move it to the motherland there. Alright, so 1 movement there. He's going to pick up a troop and then bring it back for an amphibious assault. Then they're going to take this guy up here and go 1, 2. You know what? Before that transport left, Japan was going to use 1 more unit over there as a bridge, leaving 1 unit at Japan. Alright, and then that is it, I think. Alright, so let's roll. Over here, we'll start up here. It's 1 against 2. Alright, the US defended. They hit once. Japan hits once. US will lose a tank. Japan will lose the plane, so that it can take over this. Alright, that's the end of that one. Let's go down here to the Philippines. It's 1-on-1. And Japan won. Holy shit. Alright, so Japan does this guy here. US loses a credit. Japan gains a credit. Alright, that's the end of Japan's combat. They are not going to do any non-combat movements, I don't think. Could reinforce down here, but nah. I'm going to drop this guy right on the aircraft carrier. And then it goes over to the U.S. They're not going to fight. They're going to do non-combat now. We're going to move 1, 2 back to the coast here. And then we're going to move a tank from East U.S. to West U.S. Alright, I forgot to purchase it, so they're going to do a plane for 10. They had 17. They're spending 8. For 9. They need a destroyer. Screw that plane. Alright, so 9 left. And they will do tanks and infantry. Spending all of their bucks. Forgot Japan's income. It goes back up here. We're going to mobilize. They are going to drop this guy off here. Drop this tank off in this area here. And we'll put this guy here. We do their income. They get how much? 15 bucks there. Germany got their capital back, so the game continues. Alright, we'll get back with round 4 in a second. Alright, let's go into round 4. Russia starts off first with a shitload of money. So, they have 25 IPCs. So, we're going to build at least 2 tanks. We're going to build 3 tanks. Now we'll start off with 2. So that would bring us down to 13. Then a plane, that would be 10. We'll get a fighter, which will bring us down to 3. And for the last one, we will get 1 infantry. Alright. Now we're going to combat movement. Unfortunately, the only thing you could really do is here with the homeland there. He is going to take everything out of Russia and go into the Caucasus along with, now he'll leave there up in West Russia. But he will come out of the Ukraine, go into the Caucasus there. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry and 1 tank. His last combat movement, he's going to move this sub. Let's do the battle. Alright, so Germany has 1 hit. Russia has 1 hit for the tank. So Germany loses 1, Russia loses 1. Let's roll again. Okay, so Russia has 1 hit for the tank. Germany has 2 hits. Ooh. Oh wait, they got 3 units there. I only rolled 2 dice for them. I gotta roll another die for them. Germany got 3 hits, so there we go. Russia is gonna pull out. They're gonna pull over to the Ukraine here. Alright, let's go to the motherland. So Germany has 2 dice. Russia has 1. Russia hit. So did Germany. So Germany will choose the plane. Russia's gonna lose the tank. Let me make sure I want to lose the plane. You know what? Germany will lose the tank. Now we're going to go over here. Ooh, alright, so I hit, they miss. Germany loses their sub. And that's the end of that. Now we're going to go into non-combat. So, like I said, Russia is going to hold off with this guy here. They don't have anything else to do. So, non-combat is over. We go into the mobilization phase, and they're going to drop them all in Russia here. 1, 2. I got to choose which one to do. I'm going to keep the plane. Get rid of the infantry. I'm going to keep 1 infantry. Get rid of the tank. Yeah, this way, if he does come up here, I'll at least have 1 unit there. The tank could still blitz at some point. Now we collect income. So, let's see. It didn't move. We get 13 rubles. Goes over to Germany. They start off with 12 Reichsmarks. So, let's see. What are they going to purchase with 12? Well, they're going to get 2 infantry and a tank. Leaves them 1. 1 goes into combat. Germany's going to go 1, 2, 3 into Russia. Then it's going to come up here with these guys. Going to attack India here with these 2. Alright, that's it. Let's get into the combat. We'll start down here. Germany hits once, misses once. And the same goes for England, so it'll be 1 and 1. Okay, and then we roll again. And both miss. Let's do it again. Both miss again. Both miss again. And England finally hit, destroying Germany's tank. Up to Russia. Alright, so Germany hits with 1 infantry and 1. Russia hits with the fighter. And that's it. Alright, so Germany takes 1 casualty. And Russia takes 1 casualty. We're going to roll again. So, this guy is confusing me. Alright, we're going to move him up here. Alright, Germany got another hit. 2 hits because the plane's still out. Russia got 2 hits. So, Russia loses both of these guys. Germany is going to choose to lose 1 infantry and 1 plane because they got to get this back. So Germany took over Russia's capital. Russia will lose 3 of these points. 1, 2, 3. Germany will gain these 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Germany will get any crits Russia had in the bank. Oh, I forgot to do that. Germany got all of the NPCs. Now we're going to do the IPCs. Germany gets 12 plus 11 is 23. Russia can't do anything but combat next round. Germany will now mobilize. We're going to drop one here in the Caucasus, one here with a tank in Germany, infantry that is. Germany does their income now. I screwed that up. All right, so I moved the wrong. I'm tired. I'm sorry. All right, so Germany would have spent all of its money to buy these units. Now, all right, so they spent that. That brings them down to 0. Now, Russia would have been 1, 2, 3. That would give them $13 for raiding Russia. Okay, now here we are at 15 with the the national production units. So we will add 13 and 15 for 28. Being that we will be above 25, I'm going to use a die here underneath it to indicate that I am 25 plus the die, which will bring me to 28. All right, and now I'm going to put the correct marker on there. All right, Germany took that over. Like I said, tired. All right, we're going to go into non-combat. So he's going to move here, and these two are just going to stay there. Now it's the UK. I'm going to try and get all this straight. Purchasing. So the UK has, 10 credits. They will buy some infantry and a tank. That's what they'll buy. Infantry and a tank. All right. Now we go into combat. They're going to move up here for 1. They are then going to come down here to Japan over there in Southeast Asia for 1 combat. They're going to take 2 of these units here and do that. Yeah, that's all they're going to do for combat movement. So we go into combat. Like I said, they won this. Let me adjust this. This goes down 3. 1, 2, 3. This one goes up 3. 1, 2, 3. I forgot to do this. So 10 minus 9 is 1. All right. Forgot about him. I want to move him into combat too. He will come down here to help this guy out here. 1, 2. He's going to go into Germany actually. 1, 2. We'll do this guy here. So 1 and 1. And the UK did not do so well there. We go over here. 1 and 1. Okay, the UK did well there. They got that from Japan. Up 1 and down 1. Let's go into Germany. So this one is 2 and 1. And, ooh, they both hit. So Germany will lose 1. And the UK will lose 1. That's the end of that. Now we're going to go into non-combat phase. This guy here is going to use this as a bridge. And come here. You know what? The sub's going to do... Wait, before I go into non-combat. The sub's going to come up here. He's going to do a surprise attack on the aircraft carrier. And he misses. Okay, now we're going to normal combat. The aircraft carrier hits. I'll be damned. Alright. He goes bye-bye. Now we go into non-combat movement. I already did all that. And now we are going to go into mobilization. We go 1 up there. And yeah, we'll go on down here. We'll go into India. So we go into the income phase. The UK gets 1 plus 14 for 15. Is that right? 13. So I think I gypped the UK somewhere. Alright, so it'll be 14 there. I think. Whatever at this point, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 13. Yeah. I screwed that up somewhere. Hopefully I'll catch in at it. Alright. That is the end of the UK's turn. It now goes over to Japan. So let's see. Japan has 11 yen. Do they want a plane or a tank and a unit? Let's see. Okay, all Japan has to do is hold off till the end of the round. Russia has fallen. So let's see. All right, so that was 9 from 11. That leaves them with 2. 1, 2. Combat. Let's see, what are we going to do here? Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use it here. We're going to get off Wake Island there, or the Philippines. Alright, we're going to move up here. We're going to grab the tank. And then they're going to move here. We're doing amphibious assault here in South Asia. We're going to come 1, 2. We're going to go fight here. That's it. So let's do the sea battle first. There's no subs. We got 1 defending die, 2 attacking die. Let's give it a roll. So Japan hits once and misses once. The US hits once. Japan takes that. These get destroyed. And then we go back. Then we'll go over to here. We got 2 attack, 1 defense. We got 1 hit for each. So the tank will stay. These guys will go. This goes and Japan gets 1 point. And that's the end of Japan's combat zone. Let me think here. Non-combat. We will. The game's pretty much over at this point. We're not going to do any non-combat, but we are going to reinforce or mobilize. Japan gets their income, which is 12 with what they had left over. That be that. Goes over to the U.S. The U.S. starts with, 15 cash. Alright, the U.S. is going to buy 2 transports for 14, leaving them 1. Go into combat. Alright, so at this point, the only thing they could really do is come in here and fight, but they'll just end up losing it eventually. So that's pretty much the end of their turn. They would collect their income, and all that. Doesn't make sense to, but it is the end of their turn, and the Axis have won by sneaking up and taking Russia. That's the end of that. That is the end of the round, and we check for winning conditions. The Axis pulled it off by getting Russia there the last minute. And that is how I play Axis and Allies 1941. Stay tuned for what me thinks. Alright, so it's a couple days later. Normally I would do my final thoughts after I edit the video, so I'm watching the game without really thinking about it too much. As opposed to when I'm actually playing the game really thinking about it. But I wanted to do this before I got done editing the video. I'm about halfway through the game itself. It's probably going to end up about 2 hours, hour 45. But I wanted to do this before I change the lights on this in here. I'm about to put new LED lights in here instead of what I've been using, and that might change the way the board looks. So when I point something out on the board, I want to make sure it's the same lighting. That being said, this is the first time I played any Axis and Allies game. I do have a good bit of negatives about it. I didn't realize that until I wrote them down, because I wanted to make sure I wrote down all the positives. But overall, I do like this game. There was confusion for me when I went to look at this. Originally, I was going to buy a used copy of the WotC, the Wizard of the Coast version, because I didn't want to spend, what is it? It's like 70 or 80 bucks for the original version of Axis and Allies, something like that. I don't want to spend that much money on a game I did not think I would get to the table often, and I do not think I will get this or any other version of Axis and Allies to the table often. I don't see Jen spending, the least amount of time I played with this game, and they've all been solo. But the least amount of time I spent on this is going to be about a little over 2 hours rather, like 2:15, maybe 2.5. All right, is definitely not what they're saying an hour in that on the box. There's no way in hell. I did this solo. Like I said, this solo. What you will see will be the my 4.5 game. I didn't mess up too bad, so I didn't have to refill the game. But that'll be my 4.5 game. The first game was just I played, I think, 2 rounds to see how everything worked. Came back and did a long game, the regular game. Then I did another long game, and then 2 short games. So this is the fourth full game. It was difficult for me, I can't see spending 3 hours teaching somebody how to play this game and them sitting there. I can't see that happening with Jen. My brother, maybe, if we get enough time, which I'm going to try to up the mountains next week because there's no internet. It's just us. We barely get a TV signal up there. So we'll try it up there with them. A couple of the guys up there, they might get into it. My uncles will be up there. But I really wouldn't see this being pulled out more than once a year, maybe. And so I didn't want to buy a brand new one. But this is a brand new copy, and it is a brand new publisher. Renegade Games is now making Axis and Allies as opposed to WotC. I think, I'm not sure if they still are or not, but I know Renegade has this and the other 3 versions that are out there. The normal 1942 is the base game of Axis and Allies that we all grew up with during the 80s and 90s. There's this, which is the entry level into it, and then there is 1940, and there's 2 games for that. They are standalones, but they can be combined to make a huge map of 1940 Pacific and the European theaters. I will never play 1940, I don't think. Like, the board will be huge, and I could just see that taking forever. I think 1942 is like 6 hours average. This, I'm going to say 2.5, 3 hours. With more people, I'm pushing it closer to 3 hours, probably. Because even though I did play it solo, I still got to think about what I'm going to do. Everything changes from, turn to turn. So you can't really plan out too much in advance. You're still going to sit there and figure out what you're going to do. Unless you play this 1,000 times and you just know this move does this, automatically. And I don't really see the point in doing that. But that's no fun for me. I'm not one of those people who goes online and looks for strategies on shit either. That's just no fun to me. That's killing the spirit of the game, basically. I'd rather explore strategies and figure things out on my own, explore the game on my own, but to each their own. Overall, like I said, I do enjoy this, and each time I play it, I enjoy it more. It's amazing how it feels like how World War II played out in the beginning. Like, America couldn't do nothing. They were just trying to get stuff over to England and start building up their forces to fight Japan in the beginning years. England was just trying to hold on for dear life. Russia was trying to push into Germany and also keep Germany from pushing into them. And so there was a tug of war there the whole time. And the game, even though each player has the same amount of units, and they all act the same way, it almost feels like an asymmetrical game because each country has to have their own strategy. America and Japan and England are very heavy on war, on naval battle. Couldn't get that word out. Naval, because they got transport so much stuff, and this game is heavily surrounds that naval warfare. Germany and Russia, especially Russia. Russia is just ground units basically, because unless you're playing the regular game and you conquer one of the other capitals, you have no ships. You're basically just pumping out tanks, planes, and infantry. And Germany, it plays out like in the beginning of World War II. Germany just flew all over the place, and then all of a sudden they brought them back, and this forces you to play some version of the battles that actually happened. The Battle of the Bulge, the Battle of the D-Day. The invasion of when Pearl Harbor got bombed. It forces you to do that. Even up there in North Africa, it forces you to do some version of that battle. Which is cool. Even though it could play out a different way. There's always, in my game experience way anyway, there's always one of these battles being reimagined somehow with this game, and I do enjoy that. All right, time for some cons. My first con is attention to detail in this game. Japan is the country of the rising sun. It does not say, it's upside down. The rule book has, it had a rule contradict itself within a sentence of each other. So there's one there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was at the top of one of the pages. I believe it has something to do with submarines too. I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's a negative, a big negative. Another one is a player aid. This game should have a player aid. While I don't think it's a complex game, there's a lot of timing, and there's little minutia rules in there with the subs, especially in the battle, the destroyers. It should have a player aid, and this is a waste to me. The setup on the back, the players are going to look at that once when they set up, and they're never going to look at it again. It should have been tucked in the back, behind the last page. This should have been at least a player aid for everybody to use, if not have a player aid for each individual player. I know they're looking to get at a cost point. Like I said, the base game, the original 42 is, I think, $70, something like that. It might be more expensive than that. Some of them get really expensive, over $100. I think there's a 1914 for World War One. Might be 1918. That was above 100. I think these 1941s are close to 100. They could get expensive. This one I did get it on sale. It was like $25 at the most. I think normally it goes for like 30, 35. So it's half the price of the base game. And the rule set isn't as complex from what I understand. And the board's smaller, which is a plus. The other boards are big. So there's that. The chips. The chips here, I don't care that they have stacking chips. That's no big deal to me. What does bother me is the size, though. There's plenty of times where I put a tank or something on top of them chips, and I just do not know what is under it. I think it's 1 unit when it was 2. Could be 6, sometimes. I think all that would have solved that is they just made them a little bigger, like the country size tokens, It's stupid to me. And not only that, they should have marked these. If this is for entry-level players, they should have them marked 1, 3, and 5, the values of them. I mean, how much more is it for one number on a chit? So these, like I said, I don't mind that you have to stack. It did bother me. There should be more ones, because during that setup, you got to figure out who needs what chits to figure it out. It's a pain in the ass during the setup. There should be more ones too. Another negative is this battle board roller thing. I don't know what the hell you would call them. Paint sticks. Should be one board. Again, they're trying to hit a cost point. I get it. But come on, really? How much? They couldn't configure that punch board out a little better. An inch bigger, that's all you really need. The dice, could have used more. Again, price point, I get it. Most gamers have their own dice. That's not a huge deal. So they were all cons. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. My brother called. Speaking of the devil. Going back to this, where were we? Oh, the cons. Germany. Germany is a big con, the biggest con in the game for me. I wanted to do this before I changed the lightings. I got new LED lights. They might shift the color. So if you can see, it comes up brighter on camera than it does for my naked eye. And it is very hard to see the borders for me, especially over here in the Ukraine area with East and West Russia, or Europe and West Russia. I don't know why they didn't go with contrasting colors, a white or a tan or a silver or something like that, some kind of contrasting color. This is a very well lit room for filming. If I were in the other room playing in my living room or dining room with normal lighting, the living room, she's got that lit up like a torch, but The other one, I probably would have a very hard time seeing that. I actually did filming this at certain angles, like I said, especially around Ukraine. So that is the biggest con for me. I have another con for entry level players, and that is this rulebook. While I didn't find it to be a horrible rulebook, it wasn't the greatest. But if I never played Axis and Allies or any type of, I don't want to say complex, because it's not a complex game, but it's more complex than Risk or, what other dudes on a map. What is it? Small World. I knew it was World. Small World. Even Memoir 44. They're pretty entry level games. 1775 or any of them American series, basically. They're not that complex. This one has, because of the movement with the subs and the destroyers and all that. This one, it's a little bit more of a step up than those. And the Acela goes by. As I was saying, I don't think a person at that level of gaming will be able to play this game from this rulebook. It's tough with war games to lay out things. If you front load information on the beginning, people zone out. If you dump it on the back, people just don't read it or forget about it. It's tough when there's a lot of information to relay. I get that, but I think it could have been done better than this. I mean, even war game books, they have, they're easier to reference with. They have, 1-A for whatever is movement, 1-2A whatever. It'll tell you in a table somewhere, go to this line at this paragraph, or this page at this paragraph. This, not so much. They have the side views of the ships, and the figures is not great at all. I have a hard time with some of the ships when I'm looking down at them. Some of them look similar to me from the top view. Sometimes some transports and the destroyers do. Even some subs and transport or destroyers to a degree. I understand they're shaped differently and all that, but when you're looking at them at a glance, they kind of look the same. And those examples in there didn't help much, to try to differentiate that. They're not very good examples of what these things look like. I do like that each scope is different. Even though they are the same units, they all look different. The German tank looks different than the U.S. tank, and the planes look different. And from what I understand, the original is the same way. More so, they have more units, and it's more complexity added onto that. So I do like that they are each individually different. I wish there were maybe a couple more infantry, or like I said, a couple more of these one tokens. Just enough that, like, if you had a ton of little dudes on here, it would just clutter it up. You'd knock it over. You see me with my non-working paw knocking shit all over the place. The reality is, if you had a bunch of little plastic like this, it'd be all over the place. It'd be a mess. So the stacking tokens don't bother me at all. But it should be enough that we want to do that, configuring nonsense in the beginning to see what units get which stacking token. Just a couple more tokens, man. That's all it needs. What else? I do like the simplicity of the battles. Each unit gets a die. They got a number you gotta get to or less. You roll off. There's no modifiers and all that other nonsense you can get into some of the heavier war games, line of sight, stuff like that. I do like that, the simplicity of it. Like I said, it's not a hard game. It's just a little bit to get used to in the beginning. Once you play it once or twice, I think even a non-gamer will get it if it is explained right. Hopefully, I could explain it right. This was a tough one. This one reached my limits of filming because of not only the time spent in it, but just all the little nuanced roles and all the playing the 5 different countries at once and trying to keep track of all that. It was just a lot for me for one player. I'm sure other people out there can keep track of all this a lot easier. And, filming it doesn't help. But that does concern me, though, that they're 5 players and all that. Like I said, it was a lot for me to do, but I could see the U.S. just not doing anything for a couple turns. Just no player interaction, just sitting there, building stuff. And each round I'm going to average each round about 40 minutes, maybe 35, 40 minutes. I found the beginning rounds are longer, and then they get much faster towards the end. The short game, most of them lasted between 3 and 4 rounds. The longer game, probably about 5 or 6. I can't remember. It's been about a month since I played the long games. I think it was about 5 or 6 rounds. So, you're looking at some time. That being said, like I said, the base game, the original game, like I've heard, 6 hours. I don't know. While I do enjoy this, and I really do enjoy it, and I like it each time I play it. I try different strategies each time. This time I was going to try and do a bomber thing from the U.S., but that got all shut the hell because I just couldn't concentrate enough on it. I couldn't concentrate on the overall view of what I was trying to do because it was just reactionary. But more so than the game would be if you were playing with other players. It was just reactionary. I just couldn't keep track of it all. But I lost where I was going with that. I knew I was going somewhere with that. I think it was with the U.S. not being able to do anything for a while. That's where I'm going to stick. That's where I'm going to go, and I'm sticking to that story. All right. I do that like that. Each time I play the strategies, I can play with different strategies with each different country. It's not like I'm sure there is where one strategy is dominant for one country. I'm sure. Like I said, I don't look into all that. I just go by my plays. But so far, I have found that each country can do a couple different strategies and, figure out a way to get the victory, or each team, I should say, with each country. Each country has a couple different ways, but each team also has multiple ways to victory with that. I would like to see how it plays with different people just because they would bring something to it that I couldn't think of, a strategy or something I wouldn't think of. Especially my brother, he was in the Army. There's a lot of people in my family. In the military, I had 3 great uncles that fought in the Great War. 2 of them were in the Pacific. One was in the European front. And then I knew some men, Babe and Wild Bill. They were, if you ever watched the HBO series Band of Brothers, they were in the unit, the AZ Company, Wild Bill Gagne, and Babe Heffernan. Bill jumped in D-Day, and they both fought in the Battle of the Bulge, along with some other stuff, the Eagle Nest and stuff like that. So I knew quite a few people in there in the Army. Like I said, my brother was in the Army, so I would like to see what his strategic ideas would be. No, a couple of my uncles will be up there with me. We're in the Marines, so maybe they get into it. We'll see. But I'm rambling now. The insert. I do like the box insert. Renegade sent, baggies, and this is the box insert. Alright, it comes with this little topper thing that sits right over things. It's got a hole for your fingers. Even my big chubby fingers fit in it. That being said, I think the box could have been smaller. The board folds up, to 3. I think it could have been a third, maybe. of the size. Like a Ticket to Ride size box, maybe. And it was just minor things. It's kind of odd box size. And that's all I got to say about that. I do believe it is. Oh, the money. Again, it could have been solved. I know it's a price point. I don't like paper money myself, so I used chits on it. I think it could have been solved with just one more country token for each country with, an IPC on it, written across it, and then 25 on the back of it. Five more chits could have solved that problem pretty easy. I'm sure other people could think other ways to go around that. Some people might like write, pen and paper. I do not. I would never be able to keep track of that. As you can see, I made mistakes even with the chits. Just forgot about phases at times. But like I said, that's it. Yeah, I do like it. I like it a lot. I don't like the experience I had buying it. Like I said, I started to get into that. There's different companies that have different versions. WotC has a couple versions. I think there's a couple editions of 42. And then there was a 1941 with WotC, but it was something like 41 spring or fall or something like that. And I don't believe it was the same game as this. It looked different from what I seen, but I don't think it was the same game. I don't think it was the stripped down version like this one is. This one doesn't have more some land units that the other versions do, like the mortars, and I'm sure there's other things that I'm not remembering offhand. Like I said, I never played the original version. I did see it when I was a teenager, and I said that's too much for me, as I think some people would do. But I'm glad I did come back to this. I'm glad I did decide to bite the bullet and sit down with it, because I do enjoy it quite a bit. But I did not enjoy getting it. There was a couple versions, couple different publishers. I did not know where to start. I went on the BGG Facebook page. I should have went on the BGG website with this one, but I went on the Facebook page and I got a shitstorm. All I asked was, which version, which copy should I start with? Which version? And it went down a shitstorm. People just argue with other people's opinions on what they thought, and people uncertain what they thought they read. Like anything else on Facebook. But between that and the different, just confusion on the different versions. Like I said, I'd never seen this. I didn't realize there was 4 different versions of it between, 8 of them between the 2 different publishers, or 10 of them between the 2 different publishers. I didn't realize there were that many different types of Axis and Allies out there. And trying to figure out which was the easiest one was a little difficult. But I'm glad I went through it, and I wish people would be a little nicer. We're all in this hobby to be friendly, supposedly. But that's it. I highly encourage you to check this one out. Don't take my word for it. Go online, check out other people's videos for it. See if it's something you would like. This video was just for me to remind myself how to play the game later on, because nobody better to teach the game than me to me. And not only that, just give it a feel of how the game plays. Don't take my word for it. Watch other people's videos on it. This is a time sink. It's not like a filler game. This is a 3-4 hour game. I'm going to assume with 5 people. Definitely more than 2.5. So check it out online. Board Game Geek, WotC, Renegade's page. I'm sure has more information. You can buy it online or at your game store. That's it. Get gaming. Have fun. See you next time. Give me out.